Hi there folks, welcome to the Star Mazda Australian Championship Season 2. We're very excited tonight to be here to bring this series to you, and we've got some fantastic news to share with you shortly. So we're here tonight, round 1 at Interlagos, and having a look at last season. Basically, to sum that season up, Dylan Shepherd took out that season, followed by Joshua Burden and Paul Nelson. And One Performance Racing actually won the Drivers' Championship. But that was last season, and we only had, 30-something drivers in there. But this season, it's a completely different kettle of fish. So having a quick look at our Season 2, and we're here tonight at Interlagos. Next week we're going to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Round 3 will be at Circuit of America's West. Round 4, Autodromo Monza, basically. Round 5, Mount Panorama. Round 6, Oran Park. Round 7, Twin Ring, Motegi. Round 8, we're off to Circuit Villeneuve. Round 9, Okayama. Round 10, Sebring International Raceway. Round 11, Lime Rock, and then we'll finish this great series off at Phillip Island. At this point, we'd also like to thank our series sponsors, Quick Beds. So if you want to book any accommodation, they have a grassroots program, which means if you put in the code 1564, some of that money will come back into this series, and that will then be reinvested in this great series. So if you're booking accommodation at quickbeds.com, definitely put in that code. I'd also like to thank us for broadcasting, RRTV. Thank you, you're welcome. And GT Racing, sponsored by Monster, for putting on this great series. So I'd also like to welcome at this point Chris. Hey Chris, how you going, mate?
Yeah, very well, thanks Bernie. How are yourself?
Oh, I'm pretty excited, mate. Interlagos, what a great track to start this series off at.
Yeah, it's a really great flowing track, and it's going to be really good tonight with these cars. Bit of a setup change, or not setup change, but new season. We've got a new platform, and basically the cars are act a little bit different towards compared to last season. So drivers are going to have to get adjusted to how the cars drive, and you can't drive it like you did last year. So be interesting to see how everyone reacts, and good racing ahead, I suppose.
Yeah, definitely. The car's developed a bit of a push since the update, if I am correct. Is that right, Chris?
Yeah, just from my own personal experience, it feels like the car has a tad more understeer. It wants to push through the corner rather than just grip really nice and tight. So it's just going to be a bit of a change to the style, the way these guys are going to drive the car. But essentially, it's still the same car. It's going to feel exactly the same one way or another. So yeah, it's a little change, but it'll be good.
Yeah, definitely. And the exciting news about the series, folks, is this series has absolutely exploded this season. Last season we had probably 26 runners, consistent runners. Tonight the organisers have had to put up two rooms, and they've had, I think, a total of 51 drivers qualify for tonight, and a total of 63 have been registered for this great series. So this series has probably at least doubled in size since last time, and it's fantastic to see, I think, Chris.
Yeah, it's a great turnout. We weren't expecting it to grow so quickly, so soon. I mean, we did just in this top split alone, we've got 26 drivers. So, you're probably going to have that many drivers again in the second split as well. So, I hope everyone wants to stick around because it's going to be good racing, and I can't wait.
Yeah, definitely. They always put on great racing, this series. It's probably one of my favourite series to broadcast, but with 9 seconds to go till the end of practice, we'll just bring up the grid and we'll have a look. So it looks like at the moment, well, this is the grid because they've already qualified. Trent Thomas will start from pole with a 132.3, followed by James Keane. Third will be Lars Jepperson. Fourth, Chris Stone. Fifth will be Nathan Bay. Sixth, okay, it's all just gone crazy on me again.
Yeah, that was actually the practice times within the service, so your grids should now be displayed, Bernie.
Alright, I'm restarting our things, and I better give us some sound too, I guess, so people can hear the great engine. So, did you want to go through the grid, Chris, if you've got it there, mate?
Yeah, I'll just quickly run through the top 10, if I can. On pole, we have Michael Schreier, Dean O'Brien in second, Marcelo Riviera in third, James Keane in fourth, Lars Jepperson in fifth, Nathan Bay in sixth, Jake Blackhall in seventh, Dylan Francis in eighth, Chris Stone in ninth, and rounding out the top 10 is Peter Jolly.
Fantastic. So we're just waiting, folks, while the guys grid up, and then we'll start this 25 lap race. So the starter has now put the standby lights on, the revs will be rising, and we've got a green flag, folks, and they're off. So let's hope this field of 26 drivers can get through that first corner safely. So as they come into Centre S's here, and we're on board now with Michael Schreier, who looks like he's got, in second position at this stage. How's it looking further back in the field, Chris?
Yeah, there's a lot going on, but it all seems pretty clean so far, which is great to see. From what I can see, we haven't had any cars off. Oh, we've got Andrew Gaines off the track. I don't know what's happened to him, Bernie.
Okay, and we've also got Dylan Shepherd off the track, so we'll jump back in a moment and see exactly what occurred there. We'll just let the field settle a bit as they are halfway through the first lap.
Gee, Bernie, it's looking really tight for some of these guys. They're pushing hard, which is great to see. I'd like to see a good race.
Certainly is, and looks like we've got Michael Schreier out in front, followed by Dean O'Brien at the moment, but it'll take the first lap for the actual timing to settle down, and then we'll give you an update on that position, folks. So as they go through the first lap, we're going to jump back and see if we can see what exactly occurred with Andrew Gaines, Dylan Shepherd, and Marcelo Rivera was involved. So I've got Andrew. So we're just going to have another look at that, folks. We've got Andrew Gaines stopped on the back straight. Yeah, sorry, folks, I couldn't bring that up, but we will try to endeavour to find out what exactly happened to Andrew.
And James Keane has just made a pass on Michael Schreier for third place. But it's not done yet. He's coming back. Michael's coming back and definitely challenging James for that position.
Yeah, we've got a driver off in the background there on the back straight. I'm not sure who that was, but having a look at our leaders at the moment, we've got Marcelo Rivera in first position, followed by Dean O'Brien. He's coming under attack by James Keane and Michael Schreier at this point. And fifth, we've got Nathan Bay, followed by Jake Blackhall, and I think there's another crash in the background there. Seventh, Dylan Shepherd. Eighth, Chris Stone. Ninth, last, and rounding out our top 10 is Joshua Burden. So it's definitely a hectic start to this race, folks. Now, unlike last season, the pit lane's pretty much open from the start, if I'm correct, Chris.
I believe that is the case. There is still a compulsory stop, but it is whenever you feel like it.
So we've got a few guys in the pits at this stage. We've probably, Matthew Wilkins looks like he may be in the pit, and Michael Rushton and Trent Thomas. Dylan Shepherd and Andrew Gaines are all having to visit the pits by the looks of it, so they've all had a pretty bad start to this race.
Yeah, it's a really bad start for Andrew Gaines and Dylan Shepherd. Obviously, first lap incidents. Scott Connors and Matthew Wilkins, if they come up on your screen, they are actually race control tonight, so they're not actually in the cars. And they will be doing all of the race control.
Yeah, and that's another thing that the series has got now is live race admin, which is fantastic to see. It just brings that other element of realism to this great event. As we're jumped on board now with 8th position Lars Jepperson, we'll stay with this, folks, and you can have a run around Interlagos with Lars. So crank up your volume and enjoy the ride. I wonder if Lars knows we're watching, because he got it a bit sideways into turn 1 there, Chris.
Oh, it's easy to do as well, so maybe commentator's curse, you never know.
Yeah, well, it wouldn't be the first time. So anyway, folks, that's a lap around Interlagos. You can actually see how fast these cars go. They're fantastic little cars to drive.
So we're just forming a couple of packs here, Bernie. Looks like the field's sort of separating themselves into a couple little packs, and a couple little good battles that are happening in between all of them.
Yeah, having a look out in front, Marcelo and Dean O'Brien have pulled a gap out of 3 seconds now over 3rd position Nathan Bay, but then we've got a nice battle pack between Nathan, Michael Schreier and Jake Blackhall. Oh, actually, there's quite a few. Then we've got about 4, haven't we? Lars Jepperson, Chris Stone, Josh Burden in that 3rd battle pack, so they're really fighting all through the field at the moment.
Yeah, that's right. And you've actually the two leading cars of Marcelo Rivera and Dean O'Brien are actually bumper to bumper. They're challenging each other here, so that's good. We want to see some racing. We don't want to see one person just run away with it.
Yeah, that's right. And we just saw one of the Evolution Racing Australia Star Mazdas duck into the pit for their pit stop. They were running probably around about 10th at that point. So we've got a great battle here between 6th, 7th and 8th at the moment. Lars Jepperson, as we see Josh Burden now going on the inside, and again there's some incident in the background. We'll just jump back and see what happened to Lars here in case it was him having a trouble. Don't know about you, Chris, but after a week off, I'm a bit rusty, mate.
I know what you mean. We jumped in the car last week, Bernie. We had a week 13 fun race. So, I mean, what did you think of that?
Oh, I loved it. It was great. The thing that surprised me was how hard you can push these cars, or you have to push these cars to be competitive, and how fast a lot of these front runners are. I think after that race I was 2 laps down, and I don't know how that happened, but it did.
Yeah, you're exactly right. As we were just talking about that, Dean O'Brien has just taken Marcelo for the lead as well. So there's still 18 something laps left. There's still plenty of time for anyone to take this away from Dean. But yeah, going back to last week, it was good fun. It was great to actually have a drive with these guys as well. So I think I was competitive. I think Dylan Shepherd, our series reigning champion, actually was rooting for a drive for me. So, but it's all good. I'm enjoying the show from up here.
Yeah, I thought I was going to lose you up here for a moment. I thought you'd be out there tonight. As we can see now, Marcelo coming back on Dean O'Brien. He's in the slipstream, and we'll see if he can do anything into turn 1.
Another thing that these drivers may want to also consider is getting their pit stop out the way. Might give them a bit of clean air if they want the clean air. A lot of, especially these guys that are trying to attack and defend in these battle packs, they might just want to break away from that. So we might see some of these drivers start to come into the pits and try and change it up, I suppose.
Yeah, I think so. As we can see now, Lars is having a look on the inside of Jake Blackhall there. They've gone side by side through turns 4 and 5, and it looks as Lord Lars has to do this the hard way. He's gone around the outside, but he's managed to get that position. So that was great driving there.
Yeah, good overtake, and committed himself and stuck to it. He didn't second guess. So great overtake there, and you saw Jake actually got a little bit of a wiggle coming out of that corner, and it lost a little bit of momentum. So he's now under attack from Chris Stone, and Dylan Shepherd, our reigning champion, is just sitting behind him. Oh, he's a lap down, so he's just trying to recover. But still, he's still in there. He's going to be a problem.
And we've just had, it looks like, was that Lars that went off wide there? I think it was. Coming into the last corner onto the front straight, it looks like he's had a bit of a coming together.
Yeah, so he's just undone all that good work.
Yeah, so I'll jump back to the replay because I did hear contact. So we're having a look now at the replay, folks, as Jake's coming up behind Lars, coming under brakes here. Oh yeah, he got rear-ended there by Jake there and sent him wide. But to Jake's credit, he did back off and let Lars go back in front. So he redressed that by the looks of it, Chris.
Yeah, it looks like he's definitely redressed, but unfortunately it's lost both of those drivers 2 positions in that whole move. So silly mistake, but it does happen. Yeah,
it was under brakes there that they came together, and it doesn't look like they've had too much damage. There's quite a few new names out there tonight, and one new name we should give a special mention is Marcelo Rivera. Some people out there that have been watching the GT Academy that's been airing on television may have seen Marcelo competing in that. I'm not going to tell you where he ends up because that would be spoilers, but he's one of Australia's top sim racers, that's for sure.
Well, he's really showing it tonight, Bernie. He's definitely challenging Dean O'Brien for this win. So definitely got some pace under his feet there.
Yeah, definitely. And Marcelo's joined Evolution Racing Australia, and I must say this team, they've got a heck of a strong lineup now, Chris. Like in the GT3 SEK for next season, they're looking at fielding 5 cars with 2 drivers in each car. And they've scored a sponsorship with Darrell Lee, promoting the Sticks program, and they're linked back to the McLaren team in the real GT3. So good on them. They're really showing what can be done in this e-sport.
It's great to see, any team get some form of official backing and and that's a great thing for that team as well. So good on them, and we wish them well.
Definitely, and they're lucky to have the Maverick Welding sponsorship backing their Star Mazda endeavours, as you can see on their cars tonight. So they've got two great sponsors there, and that team is definitely coming on leaps and bounds.
Yeah, and they're not the only team or new team to join this series this year. There's a few other teams as well, and they're all sporting big sim driving names. So last season we saw One Performance Racing basically sort of just run away with it. I reckon they're going to have a really difficult go at challenging for that win this year. So that said, it's only race one. There's still 9, 10, 12 races to go. So it's anyone's game at this stage.
Yeah, that's right, and I'm having a look further in the pack, and we've got some pretty big names from last season down there. Josh Burden at the moment's down in 14th in his sim race Star Mazda, and Trent's back in 17th, but he did have an off, to be fair. Now, to be fair on those guys also, they've already pitted, where the top 12 at the moment, Chris, have not pitted yet, so we can expect these guys to come up through the field as that field sorts itself through the pit stops.
Yeah, it always makes it difficult, I suppose, for us as well, because we try and focus on one thing, and there's a lot of things that are going on with everyone else. So apologies if we do miss something or if we do call something wrong, but we're sort of just trying to call it as we see it, and at the moment, Dean O'Brien's actually getting a little bit of a gap on Marcelo.
Yeah, Dean O'Brien has pulled out 0.6 of a second on Marcelo, so that gap is lengthening, and it looks like last lap he pulled 0.3 on Marcelo, but they've got a big gap now back to third, which is Michael Schreier at the moment, and he's 2 seconds ahead of Lars Jepperson in fourth, and Chris Stone is another 2 seconds down, 10 seconds from the leader, rounding out our top 5.
Yeah, just looking at Chris Stone's car as well, he's got a bit of damage on that rear wing. I don't know if that's affecting any performance or not, but it doesn't appear so. But if he gets into the pits, and he'll get a quick repair on that, and hopefully might null any kind of damage that he might be experiencing.
Yeah, well, that's right. We're on board with Chris now. Just having a look. Yeah, he is losing downforce a little bit, but he's still that car's still handling pretty well. He's not having to wrestle that wheel too much, as he has just gone down to 6th, as Nathan Bay in Mad Cow Racing has just passed him.
Yeah, Nathan made that look pretty easy as well. So Chris Stone might be carrying a little bit of damage, but it's not hurting him too much. It might be half a second of that, but over 24 laps, that's a long time.
Yeah, and looking at where it's going to hurt him the most, I guess it's going to be in these faster corners where the downforce kicks in, probably through centre S's and off the back straight there. Oh, big crash. We're on board there with Chris Stone as we saw that, folks. We're going to jump back. That was disastrous for these guys. We'll get a replay of that. So we could see the driver Nathan Bay losing it in front of Chris Stone, folks. And you're on board when it happened.
Oh, that's nasty.
Yeah, we can see Nathan Bay there has just lost it. He's tried to gather it up, and he's come across in front of Chris Stone, and he's been T-boned big time. Both cars in the air, over they go. That is a nasty accident, Chris.
Yeah. What do you do? Looks like Chris Stone's actually managed to limp it back to the pits, and but Lars is going to have a tow. That's going to really ruin their race tonight. I don't know what the safety aspects of these cars are, but if that was real life, I reckon they'd be dead.
Yeah, well, I counted both of them went over at least 8 to 10 times in that accident, so that was a massive accident indeed. And because you're on board with in real time, folks, you could see just how much time Chris had to react. Absolutely no time at all.
Maybe not dead, maybe just dizzy.
Yeah, in sim racing, dizzy. In real racing, they'd probably have done a Mark Webber there and left in a helicopter, I'd say.
Got a little bit of a battle back here between Darren Bouch and Nathan Britton for Mad Cow and Evolution Australia. They're currently holding 15th, 16th, 17th position, but they're definitely fighting for a place. So they're not slow drivers. If we remember Darren Bouch from last season, he was quite up there. I think he even got a couple of podium positions, so podium places. So there's a good battle coming up here.
Yeah, definitely. Darren debuted last season and he really showed a lot of pace. You're right, I think he did get a few podiums. The other thing you might notice, folks, is all these Evolution Racing Australia cars. I'm not sure how many are out there, but there must be at least 6 in the field at the moment.
Yeah, it's a big team, and they got some big weight behind them as well with just the driver names. You know, in sim racing, if you've been in iRacing, you see these names, you know they're good drivers. So it's great to see that they're participating in this series, but they're not the only ones. There's a few other newcomers in terms of teams to the series as well. So it's great to see.
Definitely, and we're having a look at Damien Carr in the sim racer entry there. I'm not sure, was Damien in last season or is he one of the newcomers to this series?
I think he was. I think he competed in a couple of races last season. So he's in the red JFF Racing entry, and we know Josh Burden, who was in the orange JFF entry last season. So they're in the same team, and we know the pace that Josh had. So we can only expect the same, I suppose, from Damien.
Yeah, well, I think when the field goes into pit, we're going to find Josh and James Keane coming up further, because now the guys that haven't pitted at the moment is our top 7. So we've got Dean O'Brien out in front. Marcelo Rivera has pulled him back in to 0.2 of a second. Lars Jepperson is in third now, coming under pressure by Michael Schreier. So there's a great battle here, folks. 5th is David Jellings, and 6th, Andy O'Brien. They're the only guys that haven't pitted so far, Chris.
Yeah, right, and so the next person would be James Keane, is that correct? The top running pit stop placer?
Yeah, James Keane is the top runner at the moment that hasn't stopped. He's 34 seconds down on the leader. Having a look at their stops, they're ranging from anywhere from 8.1 seconds, all the way up to 21.6 seconds. So it looks like some guys are opting for tyres. One person's taken tyres and the rest haven't.
Yeah, so we also need to take into account the in-lap and the out-lap into the pit lane as well. So 35 seconds, we'll just have to see if that's going to be really close to these guys.
Yeah, that's right. So the guy that took tyres was Wayne Taylor. He's back in 16th at the moment in that fantastic looking Harley Davidson livery. It's a really nice paint job, that one.
Yeah, it looks good, but I'll tell you what, a lot of these paints look really good. I'm glad to see a lot of effort going into this. As we all probably know, a lot of these drivers are from or do race consistently in the V8 series, so it's a great alternative to running in the V8 for the Australian drivers, and it's good to see a little bit of effort going in and a good go at something different.
Yeah, definitely, and you're right. A lot of these paint jobs are very professional, very slick, and it's fantastic to see. Some of these teams have their own painters, and some of them outsource the painting of these cars. But either way, great effort to all the teams. The other thing we shouldn't forget, folks, is this is only the top split of 26 drivers. There's another 26 drivers in the other room having a race tonight, and I know some of my guys from Redback Racing, I think we've got about 3 cars down there, so quick shout out to those blokes, and hopefully they're having a great run.
Yeah, exactly. We can't forget the other blokes, because that's what makes the whole series enjoyable. It's not just one split, it is 2 splits, but it's all one series. So no, we do enjoy everyone participating, even though you might not be on the broadcast this week. It doesn't mean that you won't be on there next week. So keep at it, and we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, and we'll see if we can actually get some news somehow of the other race in coming weeks, folks, so you can actually see some of those drivers down there as well. The other thing to bear in mind, tonight these guys are in the top split, I guess you could say, top qualifiers, but it's not guaranteed they will be in here again next week, because I think each week they've got to re-qualify, don't they?
That's right, yeah. You qualify for every round, and you need to make the best possible qualifying time that you can. I'm not sure if we mentioned in the preview or not, but the qualifying setup for this season is a 10-minute maximum session with 4 laps. So you need to get your time done in 4 laps. If you stuff up 1 lap, well, you've got another 3 to do. So three there as a safety net. So if you do qualify poor, or worse than what you think you could have, you will fall into the bottom split, and vice versa. So you need to really qualify well, and congratulations if you make the top split.
Yeah, that's right. As we're on board now with Michael Schreier, having a look. We're actually, oh man, they're going side by side through the S's there. I can't believe that they didn't actually collect each other there, Chris.
It's tight racing, but these guys are well trained in racing, in sim racing. So I would hope that nothing major happens, or any accident is anyone's fault. They're good, clean drivers. We saw some really good battles last season, so it looks like we're on for another good battle right now.
Yeah, we're definitely having a great battle here as we're on board with Michael Schreier. He's actually challenging at the moment David Jellings, and they're having a great battle. But the other one up front now, Marcelo, has pulled that gap in on Dean O'Brien. As we see now, Dean O'Brien's come into the pits, Chris, for his compulsory.
Yep, I wouldn't be surprised if Marcelo maybe does it the next lap as well.
Definitely.
Just to try and cover him off.
I think he will cover him off, but we're on board now with James Keane, as James is now, and Michael Schreier just ahead of him, coming onto the main straight, and he's having a great battle with Dylan, but these guys are going to pass Dean as Dean's sitting in the pits.
Oh geez, this is going to be tight.
Yeah, again, it's really tight, but great driving there as these guys are really starting to fight for position here. Having a look at Dean O'Brien as he comes out of the pits, he did a 17.5 second stop, so that was quite a slow stop, and that brings him just in front of Michael Schreier though, so he's held on to 4th position there.
Yeah, I wonder why his stop was a bit poor there. We were sort of expecting around the 8 to 9 second mark, weren't we, Bernie?
Yeah, the average stop is 8 to 9 seconds. Some went up to 13, but 17.5, I can only think that he's put a lot of fuel in that car, or a lot more than the other guys.
We see Marcelo actually, he's coming into the pits now, so we'll have to check out his pit stop and see if it's going to take 17 seconds as well.
Yeah, well, if it doesn't, this could really make a big difference in the standings of this race, I think. And we've also got behind him, Lars Jepperson has also reacted and come into the pits as well, Chris.
Yeah, so last was he still? Yeah, so he was provisionally in second position. So, oh geez, Marcelo's come out of the pits. He's got a bit loose, but he's kept it together. That was close, mate.
Yeah, Marcelo's really pushing. He's still in the lead. Would you believe he did a 12-second stop? So that is going to make a big difference. And Lars Jepperson did an 11.1. So Dean O'Brien's stop has cost him at least 6 seconds. So it really goes to show in this close racing how much it's a team effort, not just a driver out there.
Yeah, that's really hurt Dean, and you saw Marcelo get a bit wiggly coming out of the pits. He would not have known that Dean had a slow pit stop, so he was pushing as hard as he could, and that's probably forced a little mistake. However, it hasn't hurt him because Dean's stop was longer.
Yeah, that's right. They wouldn't know what their competitor's done, and he, as you called it, was pushing really hard out of that pit. But now, when he goes across the line, he's going to realise he's got a 29-second gap on Dean at this stage.
Yeah, I think it might pull back down to about 5 or 6 seconds though, as they cross the line. I think the times might just filter out a bit.
Yeah, they will, but, you know, I want to make it sound sensational. Because then I can say, God, he's pulled in 23 seconds in one lap.
Yeah, well, if anyone could do it, Dean O'Brien could do it.
Exactly right, and we're waiting now to see the gap. Yeah, you called it well. 5.083 seconds is the gap between Marcelo and Dean, and the difference in pit stop was 5.5 seconds.
Yeah, and Lars Jefferson's just come out just behind James Keane as well, so he's now in 6th position, but he's got everything to gain. He's got James in front of him, and then Michael Schreier shortly just down the road. But who was the other driver that was filtering? Oh, David Jellings. So he wasn't a stopper. He didn't stop, so he'll probably filter out probably around maybe about 14th, 15th place.
Yeah, and further back, we've got battles all over the field at the moment, folks. We're having a look at this battle between Darren Vouch, Jake Blackhall and Nathan Britton. But we've also got a battle further back with Brenton O'Brien and Ashley Thomas and Andy O'Brien are having a great battle.
Yeah, and I've actually got my eyes on Josh Burden and Dylan Francis, who are currently in 7th and 8th positions. So they're also trying to get each other's spot, and well, we know what the pace of Josh Burden was like last season. I think he even won a race or two, if I correct me if I'm wrong. So he's probably wanting to get up a bit further up that field, so he doesn't want Dylan tagging along behind him.
Yeah, well, having a look through the field, I think Dylan Shepherd's actually retired from this race. We'll go through our retirements, folks. We've got Trent Thomas has retired, Chris Stone, Craig Jones, Dylan Shepherd, Michael Rushton and Peter Jolly. So there's quite a few, there's a few big names in there, but one of the big names we have in our commentary booth at the moment is Trent Thomas. So Trent, it looked like at the start of that race there was a coming together with you, Andrew, and a couple of other drivers. What exactly occurred?
I'm not sure exactly. I know I saw a little bit of carnage in my mirrors. I didn't feel any hits or anything like that, but yeah, it looked like I saw a bright coloured car come up the inside, and I think caught a few people by surprise, and yeah, I think it caused a bit of contact for a few people.
So exactly what ended your race tonight? Because we see you only got about 7 laps in tonight.
Yeah, it's my internet. I don't know what it is. It's never happened to me before. Cars around me started blinking, and then it just disconnected me from the server, unfortunately.
Oh, that is unfortunate, but on the organising front, you must be over the moon with this turnout.
Well, that's a bit of a yes and a bit of a no, actually, because it's created a bit of a headache with the extra guys that have shown interest. But yeah, it's been great. Like really shocked at the amount of interest we've had in the series for this new season. As you've already mentioned in the broadcast, we've gone 2 splits just to be able to fit everybody in. So we're a bit stressing because we didn't allow for the extra quantity of people coming in. But yeah, I think hopefully we've sorted it all out and everything's run smoothly. We just need to find some more volunteers for race control, I think, for the second split now.
Yeah, that's right, and we've got to work something out to see if we can get a broadcast going for that as well, so the guys down there get a bit of love as well. But going through this field, there's some really top class drivers in this field, and I think it's really going to shake things up this season.
Yeah, there's definitely a strong field. I can't remember what position I started. I think it was like 17th to 18th or something. And yeah, obviously I'm not exactly used to starting that low down the grid, but it just shows the quality of the guys that we have in this field now, and hopefully it creates some really good racing for the viewers.
Yeah, it definitely has. There's been a lot of action through the field. There's been a lot of close racing and strategy out there, and Dean O'Brien at the moment, Chris, is 4.4 seconds down now. He's pulled in 0.6 of a second, and he's set the fastest lap of a 1:31.78. So he's absolutely pushing this car to try to pull in Marcelo at this point.
Yeah, I don't think it's enough though. I think Marcelo's going to have to make a mistake for Dean to catch him. But just while you were talking to Trent there, I had my eyes on Josh Burden and Dylan Francis, and they had a bit of a coming together at turn one, and Josh sort of booted Dylan a little bit up the behind and spun him around, but he redressed it, and what that's done now is actually let these two guys fall into the clutches of Jake Blackhall and Darren Vouch as well. So it's all on for 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th position.
Certainly is. We can see Dylan Francis there having a great battle with Josh Burden, and behind him's now Jake Blackhall, as you mentioned, as they come down the back straight. 2 laps to go. Josh is having a look on the inside of Dylan, and it looks like he's going to take that, but Jake's also trying to push it, but it looks like Dylan may have held that position for now.
Whew, that was close.
Certainly was. There's been a lot of close racing out there, but not too much contact, which is great. As we can see now, Dylan Shepherd is starting to put the pressure back on Josh, and but Jake, I tell you what, he's there, and I think behind him, not too far away, will be Darren Vouch, who's driving in the Mad Cow entry. Yep, he's right on them now, so it's a 4-way battle, folks, for 6th position.
That's right. We just had the guys cross the line for their last lap, so we actually see James Keynes trying to put a move on Michael Schreier, and Lars is just behind trying to mop up any... Oh, we've got a spin. Oh, no!
Yeah, there was contact there.
Oh.
There was rear end contact there that brought him around. We'll get a replay of that. I'm just trying to think who that was that rear-ended him. As we will come back to the action, folks. Which I shouldn't. We're on the last lap. I should do this after the race. But anyway, we're here now. So we can see James having a look on the outside as they come into centre corner here, 3 wide just about. James went on the outside and just got tagged. Yeah, just got tagged, which spun him around. But we better get back to our leader, folks. It's coming back live now as we ride with Marcelo Rivera from Evolution Racing Australia in that Maverick Welding Star Mazda. Comes across the line to take round 1 of Interlagos of the Star Mazda Australian Championship. Well raced, Marcelo, well deserved win. 4 seconds down, Dean O'Brien comes in 2nd position. That pit stop really cost him there, but 3rd, great drive there by Lars Jepperson. And then 4th was James Keane and Michael Schreier. So it looks like Michael did readdress that spin on that last lap.
Yeah, it seems that he redressed it. That's good to see, and top race, guys.
Yeah, so 7th was Dylan Francis. Jake Blackhall came home in 8th. 9th was David Jellings, and rounding out our top 10, folks, was Damien Carr. So we had how many starters here? 26 starters, 19 finishes. So quite a bit of carnage here tonight, Chris.
Yeah, couple of probably silly mistakes, but they are open wheelers, and you can't rub panels on these cars, so you just need to respect a little bit of racing room, and these drivers will drive for the rest of the season nice and close, and they'll get used to it. So we'll just have to see how they go, but they'll only mature from here, and well, we hope so anyway.
Yeah, I'm sure they will, and when you're racing this close, as you've seen in the cockpit, some of these rear end touches, it doesn't take much because they're going so fast, so close together, as we witnessed when we drove on board with Chris Stone in that massive accident. He probably had half a second to react, if that.
That's right, we don't know exactly what the damage model for these cars are. Sometimes it's just that tiny little nip, and all of a sudden your wing's gone or your suspension's bent and your race is over. But sometimes you can plough right into each other, or have a good spin or a head on and keep going. So just best not to have any kind of contact, and you'll be right.
Yeah, definitely. And before the guys hopefully jump up for an interview, Trent, so what do you think of tonight's race now that the first round's done?
Well, I can honestly say I've got a bit of relief now that the first round's done, but with my net issues, I haven't been able to watch the race at all yet, any of the coverage, so I'm looking forward to watching it afterwards and seeing how much of a exciting race it was. I was listening to you guys call it, and it sounded like there was a bit of good racing going on.
Yeah, we worked out pretty quickly. We're a bit rusty this week, but I think we're awake now, aren't we, Chris?
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, and Trent, we mentioned earlier tonight about quick beds and the grassroots code 1564. Can you tell the viewers a bit more about what that program's all about?
Basically, quickbeds.com offer a program for clubs and that sort of stuff for fundraising purposes. By quickbeds.com are a hotel booking service. By using our unique code when you're booking a hotel through the QuickBeds website, depending on the value of the booking, our team gets a donation, and depending on and those donations we plan on sinking back into the community, doing things like running the Smack series, or we can use it for charity donations to participate in certain events that are run throughout the time. So yeah, we ask that if people are going to go on a holiday or for business purposes to jump on quickbeds.com, use 1564 as the grassroots code, and you'll be helping the sim racing community in general.
Yeah, it's a fantastic effort there and cause. So, folks, if you're going to book any accommodation, go to QuickBeds, use the grassroots code 1564, and you're giving back to this great community. So, Trent, we had a total of how many? 52 guys tonight. So that's absolutely exploded compared to last season.
Yeah, it has. We were running, I think, about 20 per race, about 25 on some of the bigger ones, and we were hoping that we could get a field of about 30 cars maybe this season, and so to effectively more than doubled is actually quite a surprise, considering we also only advertised the season on Monday. So all this interest has come through in only a matter of days, which is really exciting.
It certainly is, and if the racing is anything like tonight, I think we're going to be in for a really big action-packed season, which I'm very excited about. Before we bring some of the guys up, I'll just take you through the complete field, folks. So Marcelo Rivera has won round one of the top split at Interlagos tonight, followed by Dean O'Brien. Third was Lars Jepperson. Fantastic drive by Lars. James Keane came in fourth. Fifth, Michael Schreier. Sixth, Dylan Shepherd. 7th was Joshua Burden in the sim racer Star Mazda. Jake Blackhall came home in 8th in the Evolution Racing Australia Star Mazda. Darren Vouch, his teammate, 9th. 10th was David Gillings. 11th, Damien Carr. 12th, Brenton O'Brien. Brenton had a great run tonight. 13th, Ashley Thomas. 14th, Wayne Taylor. 15th was Andy O'Brien. 16th, Sean Watts. 17th, Nathan Bay. 18th, TJ Brown. 19th was Andrew Gaines, which I'm just having a look here. I think Andrew... no, he wasn't one of the retirements. Nathan Britton finished 20th in 3 laps down. 21st, Trent Thomas, who retired from the race. Chris Stone also retired 1 lap later, a bit further in that big accident. Craig Jones. 24th, Dylan Shepherd. 25th, Michael Rushton. 26th, Peter Jolie. And that rounds out our field. So, Chris, our last season winner, Dylan Shepherd, he looks like he's going to have a bit of work ahead of him this season.
Yes, I think he will. But he's got his teammate Dean O'Brien, who's managed to come home in second place. So there's definitely speed there for these guys, and it's not over yet. Drop rounds in play, so but he will definitely have his work cut out for him. That's for sure.
Yeah, definitely, and but you know, it'll be good. It would be a bit boring if it was the same guys up the front. So we've got a lot of new blood in this series, and it's really shaking things up. And I really like the idea that you know, these guys next week they can come back, requalify, and we might have a different bunch of guys up here in the top split.
Yeah, exactly right. So it's definitely not over for Dylan or Trent or any of the guys that had a bit of a whoopsie on that first couple of laps. So yeah, it's anyone's game, and see what happens next week.
Yeah, definitely, and I'd like to welcome to our commentary box now Josh Burden. Welcome, Josh. 7th tonight in your sim racer Star Mazda. What did you think of the level of driving out there tonight, mate?
Mate, it was absolutely awesome. Yeah, just I qualified 11th. I thought it wasn't too bad considering the amount of talent that's there tonight. So pretty happy to come through to 7th, and almost had 6th there, but just couldn't quite get it.
Yeah, and it's great to see there's a lot of new blood out there, and there's a lot of depth in that new blood coming into this series. So I think we're in for an exciting series.
Yeah, mate, seems like it. There'll be plenty of racing right throughout the field. All season, I should say, and yeah, looking forward to it, see what we can do.
Yeah, and we were talking earlier on tonight about the update and how the Star Mazda's developed a bit of a push. From your perspective, how different is this car to drive compared to last season?
It's not too bad. You just got to adjust to it, obviously, and it doesn't take much to adjust to it. You just got to not carry as much speed through the corners. With the medium and high downforce setups, it might be a bit better, but because we're running a low downforce tonight. So, yeah, I don't think we ran the low downforce at all last season, so you can't really compare it.
And how did the tyres hold up? Did you find any drop-off, or did they make the length of this race pretty easily?
No, not a great deal of drop-off. I was still doing roughly the same lap times within a few tenths towards the end of the race than what I was doing at the start of the race in my own air. So, yeah, it's pretty good, I think.
Fantastic. Chris, is there anything you'd like to speak to Josh about?
Yeah, g'day Josh, it's Chris here. What do you had a bit of a, I think it was last lap or second last lap, little blunder there with Dylan Francis, but it looks like you redressed it. Do you want to talk about that at all?
Yeah, just a bit of lapse of concentration, really. I think he missed his apex a little bit and wasn't quite carrying the speed through the corner as he normally would, and I just gave him a little hit, and it was enough to spin him around. But I redressed, otherwise I knew I would have got a penalty for it. So yeah, it didn't end up costing me any positions in the end, so it didn't really matter too much.
Yeah, we sort of touched on a little bit in the broadcast about how these cars get damaged, I suppose. They're not like a tin top, or they're not like a V8 supercar where you can rub panels, I suppose, and not cause too much damage, because these things, all you need to do is clip a wing or clip a tyre and your suspension's gone, or you're flipping over, like we saw a couple of cars in the race earlier. So, the damage model doesn't always favour one driver or the other, does it?
No, that's it. I think luckily it didn't damage either of our cars, which surprised me. I think they may have actually done some work on it, because like last season, if you had a tiny little hit, you'd definitely notice it. But yeah, that was a bit of wasn't a massive hit, but it was a decent hit, and didn't really notice it too much. So I think they may have done a bit of work on it.
Yeah, all right. Well, we've got your teammate Damien Carr. We might bring him up as well and have a chat to Damien. So, g'day Damien. Welcome to RRTV's commentary channel. How did your race go tonight?
He's speechless. That's how well it went.
Oh, that went well. We might. We'll talk about it anyway. He managed to come home in 11th place after starting in 22nd. So, Josh, you must be pretty happy with the teammates' result like that.
Yeah, man, absolutely. He was wrapped with it. Come from, like you said, down the back of the field to finish just behind me. It was. So yeah, he was wrapped with that. I think this is the first time he's actually driven the car in a race. So.
Oh, there you go. We'd probably expect a little bit more pace out of him then. He might even challenge you.
Oh, absolutely, mate. Look out for next round, mate. I reckon he might win it.
Oh, it's good to see. Is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, absolutely. Sim Racing Magazine, Scotty Stevens for updating the paints once again. Look fantastic. And RRTV for putting on the broadcast, and also James Thomas Racing for the series. It's great.
Fantastic. Well, thanks, Josh and Damien, for coming up, and it's great that it sounds like you both enjoyed tonight's race, and we'll catch up with you next week.
Cheers, guys.
So it looks like we have our race winner waiting to come in, Marcelo Rivera. So we might bring Marcelo up, and his teammate Brenton O'Brien. What do you think, Chris?
Well, certainly. Why not?
Hi Marcelo, welcome to RRTV's commentary box. Another fantastic race tonight. I was saying to some of the people earlier on in the broadcast that you're new to this series, but you were competing in the GT Academy, which is currently on TV. I didn't tell them how well you did. I didn't want to spoil it. But getting back to tonight's race in the Evolution Racing Australia Maverick Welding Star Mazda, how did you find the level of competition tonight, and did you have any real issues?
Yeah, no, I thought the competition was pretty well. It was pretty even up the front there between me and Dean. It was definitely going to come down to the pit stops. I was a bit surprised that there was a little bit of a gap at the end there, but I was a bit relieved really, but I was definitely thinking that it was going to be like a battle to the end.
Yeah, we thought when we saw you coming out of the pits, we saw how hard you were pushing there, and we thought you were concerned that Dean was going to jump you in the pits. But Dean actually had a 17.5 second stop, so it looks like you put too much fuel in. So out of that pit stop, I think you gained about an extra 5 seconds. So yeah, well done. It was a great race.
Yeah, no, I was trying to stay behind him a bit just to see how much I could conserve fuel, and just so I could add as little as possible towards the end of the race, and I knew that would help me towards in the pit stop anyway.
Yeah, no, it was good, and we've got your teammate up here, Brenton O'Brien. Welcome, Brenton, and again, ERA's brought quite a few cars to this series.
Yeah, 5 cars to the grid. Seriously, how fun are those things? That's the first time I've ever been in a race in Star Mazdas, and G&T team and yourself are to be congratulated for running that series, but those things are a blast. I had a lot of fun out there.
Yeah, I had to run in them last week, and I had an absolute ball running these cars. They're just fantastic. I reckon they're the closest thing to go-karts on iRacing at the moment.
Well, I'll take your word for that because I haven't driven a go-kart, but yeah, our Evolution Racing Australia team, like I said, we had 5 participants tonight, and it's been a good week for us with Marcelo just new on board last week. Super happy to have him on board, winning the SCK race on Sunday night and now picking up a win here tonight. So yeah, we're extending into the Star Mazdas and the Skip Barbers, so this is all fairly new as a team for us, so yeah, really ecstatic for the result. And no point talking to me, mate. I had a good race. I came 12th, but Marcelo's the man you want to have a chat to.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to hand over the interview with Marcelo to Chris. So wake up, Chris. It's your turn, mate.
Thanks, Bernie. Yeah, Marcelo, I mean, have you driven the car before, or are you also new to the Star Mazda?
Relatively new. I have driven it before, but just not at a serious level like tonight. So it was definitely good to get a good start and get a win on board for the team. So yeah, I'm really happy with that.
During the actual race, Bernie let everyone know that you got a little bit of what was it? The Gran Turismo thing.
Yeah.
What? Yeah, and you probably pretty good with the sim racing. So, knowing what you did tonight, how do you think the rest of your season? What's your expectations for the rest of the season? I should say.
I wasn't really sure what to expect tonight, but after this result, I'll definitely have high expectations coming for the next rounds. I'll definitely be looking for top spots, I reckon.
I'd like to agree with you, but there's a fair bit of talent in there. So Dean O'Brien's not one to he's pretty quick at the best of times, but now his teammates are also pretty quick, in likes of Dylan Shepherd as well. So it's probably not going to be easy going.
Nah, I definitely agree with you there. I know. I do know, or I feel like I haven't seen the best of what this series has. So I'm not going to go in there every race thinking it's in the bag. I'm definitely going to have to work hard for it all the time.
Yeah, and you're not the only one, because everyone's going to be doing the same thing. So you'll all grow together, and it's going to produce some really good racing, or good battles at least in the future. So congrats on tonight. I should ask, is there anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just the team Evolution Racing and Maverick Racing. They're doing everything right for us. All the whole team. They're just really helping us out and just letting us enjoy our racing. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for coming up, Marcelo and Brenton, and we're looking forward to seeing how Evolution Racing Australia goes next week in the second round of the Star Mazda Australian Championship.
Where's that race at, Bernie?
I can tell you.
Gotcha.
Next week we're racing at Mosport.
Where? Mosport?
Yep.
Sweet.
Yeah, Moport, yeah. You see, I knew. I was just seeing if Chris knew.
Commentators set you up as a commentator, Bertie. That happened to me yesterday.
On you, Brenton. All right, well, thanks, guys, for coming up, and see you next week at Mosport, whatever.
Cheers, Bernie. Cheers, Bino.
I actually normally call that track Canadian Tire, so for me, calling it Mosport or Mosport or whatever it is new to me as well. So.
Yeah, definitely, and we're about to wrap up, folks, but before we do, I'm just bringing up our race stewards to get their view on tonight's race. Welcome Scott and Matt to the commentary box. We saw quite a bit of contact going on throughout that race, but we noticed there was quite a lot of drivers redressing. So what's your take on all that?
You go, Scott.
Oh, it was pretty good racing out there tonight. And there's a few incidents that I think we only had to hand out one drive-through penalty, which was to our own teammate, so it was a bit awkward. But no, it was need to be done. But no, it was awesome to see when people, made a mistake, they held back and they gave the position back and readdressed it. It was awesome to see that sportsmanship there, and there was, I think it's only a couple of incidents that we'll be reviewing post-race, but other than that, it was excellent.
Yeah, from the commentators' booth here, we thought the racing was of a really high standard. It was excellent close racing throughout the whole field. And one of the drivers we spoke to earlier, we mentioned the redressing, and he said they redressed it because they're race stewards. So there's race stewards here, so that's good.
Yeah, hopefully the addition of me and Scott in most of the weeks that we can be around for the races will help lift the level of racing and hopefully improve everyone's enjoyment of the series.
Yeah, definitely. And I was saying, earlier we've got 26 guys in this split, but we mustn't forget the other 26 blokes in the second split. So do you think there'll be any chance of getting any sort of admin down into that split?
Yeah. So until we get some more people, I think we're going to have 2 live stewards in each split. So for now, until we get those other people, so I'll be away next week. I'll be so week. So I think Matt will be here doing the top split, and then hopefully someone will be here to help him. So then, so far now we're just going to try and get the replay of someone from the second split, and we'll go and review that. And then if any post-race incidents have to be handed out, then that will be done. But other than that, later on down the track, we should have 2 live stewards in both splits to sort out and hand out penalties if needed and whatnot, and keep it all clean and tidy and good racing and respectful racing for everyone in the series and enjoyable.
Yeah, definitely. And if you can pass a replay of that split on to me, I'll see if I can do some sort of delayed broadcast of that race as well. Chris, is there anything you want to speak to the race stewards about tonight?
No, not really. Just good job, guys. Well done.
Oh, thanks, Grant.
Oh, no worries.
I'll talk to you a bit later.
Sure you will.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, thanks for coming up, and we look forward to your work in the coming weeks of this great series. And Chris, let's wrap this thing up. What was your thoughts on tonight's race?
I think it was a pretty good race. Everyone had a good battle. I think there was always something for someone to do. Within that race, I don't think anyone was bored by any means. We saw a couple of first lap incidents, but we kind of maybe expect that. We've got a lot of new drivers. We don't really know how each other drive. We even saw Brenton say that he hadn't even driven the car before, so there might be a bit of that with everyone else in the series. But as we progress, round by round, we probably expect a little bit more. I mentioned earlier maturity. I don't know if that's the right word, but maybe a little bit more racing room and all that sort of stuff. So generally, I think it was a pretty good race. Well done to Marcelo. Well done to Dino as well for pulling up behind him, and well done to everyone. And what we should actually also mention is the second split. We should probably actually mention the podium for them. So do you have them on hand, Bernie?
No, I don't.
All right. Well, we got the winner of split. The second split was Paul Wood Stotesbury. Correct. Sorry if I've got that wrong. In second place was Paul Tajavara. Sorry if I got that wrong. And in third place was Marcus Huang. I'm sorry if I got that wrong as well.
Marcus was down in that split. Yeah, I've raced against Marcus in the SRA GT3 series, so it's great to see him having a run of the Star Mazdas as well. Yeah,
that's right, and it's easy to forget second split drivers, but there is every opportunity that we might even see those 3 guys running in the top split next week. So it's give a shout out to everyone if it was at all possible.
Yeah, definitely. Now, I think tonight, my view on this race, I think it had it all. We had battles all through the pack. We had great strategy. We had some interesting camera work when we were on board with that, with Chris Stone in that huge accident. So hopefully the viewers enjoyed it. But the real problem I've got tonight, and you probably know what this question is, that is trying to pick driver of the day.
Ooh, I'll have to think about that one.
Yeah, I was hoping you'd pick him, and then I'd say, yeah, I agree with you. I really can't pick a driver of the day. I think there was so much action throughout that whole field. It's really difficult to find someone. If anything, I'd probably pick Lars, because he seemed to have a really strong race tonight, finishing in third position.
Well, Lars actually finished 10 seconds behind the leader. Now, I'm just having a look in some of the chat. Lars did actually take 2 front tyres in his pit stop. Was it needed? Not entirely sure, but that could have definitely jeopardised a little bit of time there. It could have been challenging Marcelo and Dean for the lead there. But if I even have a bit of a walkthrough here, it even looks like Dean O'Brien took tyres accidentally. He forgot to uncheck them in his pit stop. So that's the reason why his pit stop was 17 seconds, Bernie.
Well, that's interesting, but it's easy to do, isn't it, by not getting that message through to the pit crew. And for the folks out there that aren't familiar with iRacing, the drivers, while they're driving, if they don't have someone, a team manager in helping them, they've actually got to go and untick those boxes themselves. And these cars are a handful. I can't imagine trying to also do that while driving these.
That's exactly right, and I'm not sure if Marcelo took tyres or not, but if I have to give the driver of the day, I'd probably I'm going to go with Damien Carr, David Jellings. They started 20th and 22nd, and they finished 10th and 11th. I mean, that's a pretty good result for those guys. But I mean, Marcelo Rivera started from third on the grid. Is won the first race of the season. You have to give it to him. Why not?
Yeah, why not? We'll give it to Marcelo. It was actually for his first time in this series, driving this car. He did a really amazing job, really, and dominated this race, the later part of the race anyway. But not taking anything away from Dean. I think if Dean hadn't have had that long stop, I reckon he would have been all over Marcelo at the end of this race.
Yeah, that's right. What was Marcelo's pit stop was about 12 seconds, and Dean's pit stop was about 17 seconds, so 5 seconds difference. And Dean was only 3.6 seconds down at the end of the race. So don't know if Marcelo was maybe just taking it easy, maybe the last couple laps, but at the end of the day, he won the race and takes the honours.
Yeah, that's right. And Dean O'Brien set the fastest lap time, a 1:31.78, while he was trying to close that gap. So, it's going to be really interesting next week, and hopefully Dylan Shepherd's going to have a better run next week, because I'd like to see him up the front. Because can you imagine Marcelo, Dean and Dylan, even James up there, and Lars all fighting for it? It's going to be full on.
They're all fast drivers. I mean, even Josh Burden, who finished the race in 7th position, we know the pace that he's got. So it's the first top 10 drivers just in this race alone are pretty quick guys. So it's going to be an interesting season ahead.
It definitely is. We've got Michael Schreier in there. We've got Darren Vouch, Jake and Dylan. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be great, and I'm really looking forward to it. But anyway, I could rant on about this all night because I've finally woken up. But I think we should wrap this up. What do you reckon?
I agree.
All right, folks. So basically, that is round 1 of the Star Mazda Australian Championship. Next week we're going to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. So if you love your open wheeler racing and you enjoyed this broadcast, definitely tune in. Also, if you liked the broadcast, just give us a like in YouTube if you don't mind. And if you didn't like the broadcast, put a comment in and let us know why. Be nice, and I take all those comments and try to make this better for you guys. Looking at the week ahead, this Sunday night, we've got the final round of the SEK Queensland GT3 Endurance Series. So definitely tune in for that on Sunday night. Then starting Monday night, we'll have the Skip Barber Strength of Field race on. So why not pop in and have a look at what the Skip Barber drivers are like. So anyway, thanks everybody for tuning in and watching tonight. Hope you've enjoyed the broadcast. On behalf of Chris Bean, I'm Bernie Weemers, and you've watched RRTV.